Hi, I'm Ron Comer.
And I'm John Comer. We're going to talk about what's new in the 11th edition of our Abnormal Psychology textbook.
Of course, this new edition is totally updated with numerous recent studies and references throughout, and a range of new topics from the growth of mental health apps to the expanded use of ketamine as a treatment to increases in vaping and so on. Beyond that, there are three important features worth noting that permeate the entire edition. I'll talk about one briefly, and John will then talk about the other two. The one I'll discuss is the book's inclusion of extensive information and research on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the field of abnormal psychology. First, throughout the book, we present new research into how and how much the pandemic has affected the nature and prevalence of such pathologies as anxiety disorders, depression, stress levels, PTSD, suicide, substance abuse, sexual behavior, and others. Second, we've presented throughout the book information about how the pandemic has changed the face of treatment, in particular the emergence of telemental health approaches. And third, we also weave in much information and research about the pandemic's special psychological impact on vulnerable populations in society, such as children and adolescents, older adults, and persons of color. In short, with the extensive inclusion of relevant COVID-19 material, our new edition presents abnormal psychology in today's world, the world we currently live in.
I'll be talking about two other important features throughout our new edition. One feature regards our presentation of the biological explanations of various disorders. Increasingly, biological researchers have shifted their focus from individual neurons, neurotransmitters, and brain structures to focus on how these elements operate together within brain circuits. In our last edition, we correspondingly tied the various psychological disorders to dysfunctioning by particular brain circuits. In this edition, to help readers further appreciate how these brain circuits operate, we've presented clarifying artwork throughout the book that brings the various brain circuits to life. In each of our pathology chapters, we present side by side a traditional illustration of the brain structures implicated in that disorder on the left, and a corresponding brain circuit illustration on the right. The brain circuit illustration highlights how those structures trigger each other into action to help produce the disorder in question. A third important feature of this new edition regards our presentations of the developmental psychopathology perspective, the perspective that integrates the variables and principles from the individual models by focusing on when problematic variables occur throughout life and how they build on and interact with one another. To help the reader appreciate this perspective, we've added compelling artwork throughout the book that brings the developmental psychopathology explanations to life. In each of our pathology chapters, we present reader-friendly diagrams that clarify how and why certain individuals might develop the disorder in question, while other individuals might not. These diagrams highlight the unfavorable variables across life that may collectively set the stage for that disorder, and alternatively, the positive variables across life that may protect an individual from developing that disorder. We could go on and on about our new edition, but I'm afraid we may have overstayed our welcome. Let us end by thanking you for considering our textbook for your students. We hope you enjoy it.